It's a moment that almost no one in the hip-hop community ever thought would happen. A moment so raw and so painfully honest that when it finally came to light, people weren't sure whether to feel sympathy, anger, or just plain shock. For years, Papoose and Remy Ma were the couple everyone pointed to when they wanted proof that love could survive anything. They were the ride-or-die story. The example of loyalty in an industry where relationships barely last through one scandal. But the truth is, no matter how perfect something looks from the outside, you never really know what's going on behind closed doors. And when Papoose finally spoke up, the picture everyone thought they understood shattered in an instant. It all started quietly, in the most unexpected way. No explosive fight in public. No big dramatic announcement. Just an Instagram live late one evening, when most people were winding down for the night or mindlessly scrolling through their feeds. The notification popped up. Papoose was going live. At first, it didn't even seem like something worth tuning into. Maybe he was going to promote some music or talk about the state of the culture like he usually did. But the second the screen lit up and people saw his face, they knew this wasn't going to be normal. His eyes looked tired, like he hadn't slept in days. His voice was quieter than usual, missing that confident energy everyone was used to. He sat there for almost a full minute, staring at the camera without saying a word, as thousands of people started joining the live. The comments were confused. What's going on? Is he okay? Where's Remy? And then, finally, he exhaled this shaky breath and looked straight ahead. He said he didn't know how to start because he never thought he'd be the one to share this. He said he'd carried the weight of it alone for too long, and he couldn't pretend anymore. And in that moment, every person watching could feel that something was about to change forever. But before he dropped the truth, he took everyone back to the beginning. He talked about how he and Remy first met, how she was the first woman who challenged him in a way that made him want to be better. How he loved her long before the fame and the headlines. How he waited patiently through her years behind bars, never once thinking about leaving. He said that loyalty wasn't something he did to look good on the internet. It was who he was. He loved her so much it hurt, and he believed she loved him the same way. Then he paused, swallowing hard. He said he never imagined there could be another side to their story. That while he was holding it down, while he was making sure the world respected her name, there were things happening that he didn't see. At first, he didn't even want to believe the whispers. Because for years there were always whispers. People who claimed Remy was moving differently. People who hinted that maybe the baby she had wasn't his. Every time he heard it, he brushed it off. He said he trusted his wife more than he trusted anyone on earth. But trust, he said, is a funny thing. Sometimes it blinds you to the truth. He looked away from the camera for a second, wiping at his eyes. Then he said the words no one expected to hear. He said that after all this time, he had finally decided to get the answers for himself. He had taken a paternity test. He didn't want to, he said. He felt sick even thinking about it. But something in his heart told him he needed to know. And when the envelope came in the mail, he sat alone in their bedroom, holding it in his hands for hours before he found the courage to open it. His voice cracked when he admitted that as soon as he read the results, he felt like the floor fell out from under him. Because the paper said he wasn't the biological father of the baby he'd been loving and raising as his own. The comments went absolutely wild. Thousands of people typing at once, hearts breaking in real time. Some people were in total disbelief, typing no over and over. Others were furious, demanding to know who the real father was. But Papoose didn't raise his voice. He didn't curse or throw insults. He just sat there, looking like a man who had finally run out of strength to pretend everything was okay. He said he didn't know what he was going to do next. He didn't know how to look at his wife and ask her to explain something that had already destroyed a part of him. He just knew he couldn't carry it silently anymore. As soon as he ended the live, screenshots started flying across every social media platform. People couldn't believe it was real. For so long, Remy and Papoose had been held up as the gold standard. the couple who proved that love could survive anything. And now, the same man who defended her through every rumor was the one confirming the ugliest one of all. Within an hour, hashtags started trending. Hashtag stay strong Papoose. Hashtag protect black men. Hashtag Remy Ma. Everyone had an opinion, and nobody was holding back. In the days that followed, more details started to trickle out. Close friends said that things between Remy and Papoose had been tense for months. They'd been seen together less often, and when they did appear in public, they didn't look as connected as they used to. Some noticed Remy wasn't wearing her ring at recent appearances, but most people assumed it was just a style choice. Now, everyone was replaying those moments, wondering what else they'd missed. Rumors exploded about who the baby's real father could be. Some people claimed it was another rapper. Others said it was someone behind the scenes in the music industry. A few even suggested it was a longtime friend no one would suspect. But the truth was nobody knew for sure. And as much as people wanted answers, there was only one person who could confirm anything. And for a while, Remy stayed completely silent. Meanwhile, fans were split down the middle. Some said Papoose was right to speak his truth, that he had sacrificed so much for her and deserved to finally put himself first. Others felt he should have kept it private for the sake of the child. That no matter what happened, a baby deserved to be shielded from public scandal. But no matter where you stood, one thing was clear. This story wasn't just gossip. It was the unraveling of something people genuinely believed in. When Remy finally spoke, it wasn't a press conference or a big dramatic video. She posted a simple black screen on Instagram with white text. She said that sometimes life throws you into storms you never imagined, and all you can do is try to survive them. She didn't deny what Papoose had said. She didn't confirm it either. She asked people to remember that there was a child in the middle of all this and that no matter what anyone thought of her, she was still a mother trying to protect her family. It was the kind of statement that didn't really answer anything but said enough to show she was hurting too. For a moment people were quiet. Even the loudest critics seemed to understand that no matter how messy this was, it was also deeply human. Because betrayal isn't just about lies. It's about the quiet moments that come afterward. The awkward silences, the heavy guilt, the fear that nothing will ever be the same again. Insiders close to Papoose said he was still living at home but sleeping in a separate room. That he was trying to figure out how to move forward. That he loved the child with his whole heart. And even if the blood wasn't his, the bond would always be real. But love, he said, wasn't enough to erase the betrayal. And that was the hardest part. Knowing you can care about someone and still feel like you don't recognize them anymore. As days turned into weeks, more speculation came. People dug up old interviews, old photos, anything they could use to piece together the timeline. They shared clips of Papoose standing by Remy at award shows, hugging her with so much pride in his eyes. They shared photos of the baby, captioning them with questions they probably shouldn't have asked out loud. Everyone wanted to be the one who solved the mystery. But behind every headline was a family in crisis. Some people wondered why Papoose chose to go public instead of handling it behind closed doors. His friends said it was because he was tired of being painted as the fool. Tired of pretending everything was perfect so other people could feel inspired by their story. He said he loved Remy enough to forgive her for a lot of things, but he couldn't keep pretending this was something he could carry alone. Even though most fans were heartbroken for him, the internet, as always, was split. While many sympathized with his pain, others questioned his choices. He went too far, some said. Dragging this out in public. That's not just about her anymore. That's about the child too. The criticism hit hard. People argued that no matter how betrayed or broken he felt, some things should have been kept sacred. You don't heal by breaking someone else, one post read. But here's the uncomfortable truth. None of us really know what we'd do in his place. Because betrayal doesn't just hurt, it destabilizes you, strips you of logic. It makes you grasp for anything that feels like control, even if it means airing the very things you once swore to protect. And yet, in the middle of this emotional storm, one thing remained crystal clear. Papoose never stopped talking about love. Not even once. Even as he publicly admitted his heart had been shattered beyond recognition. He didn't bash Remy. He didn't throw dirt. Instead, he spoke of loyalty, of time invested, of the kind of love that demanded everything and got it. "I don't regret loving her," he said in one interview, eyes clouded but steady. "Not one bit. Because when I love all the way." That's what made his words land so deeply. He wasn't venting. He wasn't performing. He was grieving. And you could feel it, raw, unfiltered, human. The last time he spoke on the matter, he said he wasn't rushing toward healing. He was trying to figure out what healing even looked like. "Maybe healing isn't acting like you're okay," he said. "Maybe it's being honest about how not okay you really are. Maybe it's letting go of the dream so you can finally make peace with the truth. Even if the only thing you rebuild is yourself." And just like that, the world saw a man not broken but breaking and still standing. So as this story continues to unfold, people are watching closely. Some hoping for reconciliation. Others expecting more secrets to come out. But no matter what happens next, this moment, this raw, heartbreaking confession, has already changed everything. If there's anything to take from it, maybe it's this. The truth will always find its way to the surface. No matter how long you try to hide it, no matter how carefully you build a perfect image, the truth is always waiting. And when it finally comes out, you have to decide whether you'll run from it or face it head-on. Papoose chose to face it, even if it meant breaking his own heart. And in the end, maybe that's the bravest thing anyone can do.